Hey guys, welcome back to another video on the Inside Spurs channel. Happy Sunday morning. Hope everyone's all right. Hope everyone's okay and having a good weekend. Obviously, today 4:30, Liverpool away. Last minute thoughts ahead of such game, and when we did the preview on Friday, we sort of talked about how this game is going to be an odd one. Obviously, it's not the be all and end all for Liverpool because obviously they've got what was it like 5 more games after this. But obviously, this is an opportunity for them to win the title at home. So they're going to be super, super up for it. It's an opportunity for Spurs in different senses of Thursday being a huge game against Bodo Glimt. It's an opportunity for players who haven't played a lot recently to maybe get an opportunity to do so. I think that's kind of what Ange was saying in his presser. It makes a lot of sense. I know a few of you have sort of said, we should be going full strength and going for this. Going to be real with you. I don't really see why. And you'll see what I mean when I talk about it, by the way, because I will give you a good reason as to why I don't think we should be doing such a thing. And yeah, we'll jump into it. So obviously Liverpool today, 4:30, a game where it's Liverpool are one of those teams where we've never had a ton of success with. Okay. And it's always been a place of, especially at Anfield, where anything that can go wrong seems to go wrong. Our players get kicked in the face, play on, that person who's kicked our player in the face goes and scores. Things like that of that nature. We don't have a lot of luck when it comes to playing at Anfield. And it's an opportunity really then because of such a thing, things can happen. You never know. A sending off happens, an injury happens or two, and before you know it, you start to look at it and go, actually, we're in this game and there isn't any reasons why we couldn't be in such a game. I really do believe so. Now, I don't foresee a team of, Vic, Destiny, Mickey, Kuti, Porro, Bentancur, Bergval, Madison, Son, Solanke, and Johnson or Odegaard, whoever whoever your right winger might be. I don't foresee that being the team at all. I actually see the team being, a handful of those players, but actually there's going to be quite a few players who haven't played a lot recently featuring. There's going to be some players who have featured a lot recently who will probably get the treatment that Mickey and Kuti did or got on Monday, where they're going to play 45 minutes and they're going to be hooked, regardless of where the game is at, regardless of, Spurs are winning, drawing or losing. They're playing 45 minutes and they're hooked because those two guys are going to get nearly 10 days rest going into Bodo Glimt. Now, look, would one of them maybe play today? I don't really see the value in it personally. I think you're better off getting more out of Kevin Danso and getting him more minutes because I think that's going to benefit him massively. I think, again, I've always talked about how these Premier League games where, look, we're not doing very well in the Premier League, right? I know, shocking. I've blown your mind there. You thought, hang on, I thought we were doing quite well. But these games have always been a really great opportunity for players who haven't played a lot recently or youngsters or anything like that to get minutes, to build confidence and momentum. And it's not even that the team has to build that confidence and momentum. If you've got a handful of players that are building that confidence and building that momentum, that's all you really, really need, right? And that's kind of my thinking. I've woken up with some bed hair here, evidently. Yeah, that's kind of my thinking. We look at Tell, for example, built a lot of form. Richie seems to have garnered a bit of form here and obviously scored a couple of goals recently. Yeah, I think players like Bergval have obviously really taken their chance due to all the injuries that we've had. They've taken their chance and they've run with it. I think it's an opportunity, the other one I would say is Jed Spence. That's another one that has benefited from those opportunities. And I think it's a way that we should look at these opportunities, these sort of games that, yes, you're playing against the Premier League champions, one of the best teams in the world. I think even with a full strength 11, we're going to have a tough time with things. So, and I'll be real with you, if we had a full strength 11, I don't think I wouldn't be saying that we're going to win this game. At most, I'd say we get a draw, but I'd still probably say we might take a loss here because it's Anfield. It's something that's always been the case. We've never been good, regardless of who who's been playing for us or who's managing us. We've never been good there. I'm just looking at it more as an opportunity for, Wilson Odobert, Pape Sarr, um, Kevin Danso, you know, those players who are, are near the first team. They're on the cusp of being the first team, but you know, they're not there just yet. It's a great opportunity for those players to pick up some form, and players like Kevin Danso to continue picking up fitness. Um, Again, after this game today, you've got Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and there you have it. The fourth one is the next game. Hence why I get why people are saying, well, they've not played this week. They should be completely fit and fresh. And I'm not denying that. And I think, look, had we played the following weekends and there isn't a midweek game, I would absolutely be saying play the starting 11, make sure they're out there. But because we are playing on Thursday night, and again, it's not a defeatist attitude because I've always been maybe one of the most vocal humans in the Spurs fan base of if you have fit players, you rotate when you have to rotate. We didn't do it at the start of the season. We kept running the same 11 into the ground. We picked up a ton of injuries. And then the season, Premier League season at least, fell apart completely. You now have players back fit and healthy. Let's not just run the same 11 into the ground every single game. It benefits nobody. It doesn't benefit us as fans long term because we're going to fall off a cliff when it comes to performances and results. It doesn't benefit the manager because then he's under pressure. It doesn't benefit the players that are in the starting 11 because they're going to be injured, missing a lot of football. And it doesn't benefit actually the people on the bench because actually they're now having played 3 times a week. They're probably going to get injuries and it's a never ending cycle. So I get people wanting the starting 11. I totally get that. I'm just going to flat out disagree with you though. It doesn't really make any logical sense. I'm looking at as look at Tell, for example. Son got injured. He's played some football recently. He's looked half decent. We should be looking at that as the prime example of, hey, still got the captain to come back, and Sonny Fit is still a very, very good player. But we should be looking at it as an opportunity to continue, one, his development, but also, two, to get players who have not played very much recently, to get them minutes. So, Pape, for example, get him some minutes. Looking at Kevin Danso, that's a big one for me, Kevin Danso. I know people might think, does Mickey start alongside him? I don't think he will, to be honest. Will Romero start alongside him? I think Romero's played a lot of football recently. Leading into the 3 games before the international break, and then the games afterwards, he has played a lot of football. And a part of me kind of recognizes, look, he's missed some time this season through injury. Let's not tempt fate. Let's not sit here and destroy him. For me, Danso has to start. Has to start. You brought this guy in. You've got 3 fit out and out centre backs. You play the guy that hasn't been playing a lot recently. He's fit, he's healthy now, and actually, him getting minutes today is going to benefit you in the long run for the rest of this season. You've got West Ham next weekend, right? So next Sunday's West Ham. Obviously, we've got Bodo Glimt West Ham is sandwiched between 2 Bodo Glimt games. Let's knock on wood and all that. There's a situation where you're going to pick up some injuries in the next couple of weeks, right? And maybe one of your centre backs gets injured. Well, let's pick up some form. Let's pick up some confidence in Kevin and let's get him out there. So, I think that's the way I'd be looking at it with old big Kev Danso. I like Kev Danso as well. I think he's a good player. I think definitely get him some minutes. When we look at the left back situation, I think Jed Spence will probably start for me today at left back. I think Ben Davies might even start, and they might even go Ben Davies and Kevin Danso at 90 minutes each at centre back and going Mickey and Romero. We're not tempting fate. We're not rushing. We're not risking it. We're just look. let's be real. Spurs winning, losing, or drawing today doesn't do anything to the Premier League season, does it? It's a sad state of affairs. I want to win every game, but the way we are right now, it's not really going to do anything, is it? You know, it's like Arsenal. Had they beaten Palace, it really wasn't going to change anything. The inevitable was going to happen. Liverpool's still going to win the title. It's Man United. If they win a game, it really doesn't do anything for their Premier League season. And I think Amorim even went out. Amorim was super honest, and I quite like listening to Amorim's interviews. They're super honest. It reminds me of Ange. A lot of honesty comes out of these press conferences, more than most managers. And he said, "Look, let's be real here. The Premier League season's over." And he said this a couple of weeks ago. He said, "The Premier League season's over. All I'm focusing on is the Europa." And I was like, "All right, okay." Fair enough. I don't disagree, and I think that's Andrew's kind of he said it in a different way, saying it how, hey, Premier League season's not being good, but hey, Europa League though, Europa League, and oh, we've got an opportunity here in the Europa League, and and oh, hey, still an opportunity to do something special here in the Europa League. It's still Champions League football, and I think that's kind of what I was thinking about as well. So for me, I think they'll go Vic in goal. I think they'll go Spence. The way I would go about it. Hang on, I'll give you my team and then I'll give you what I think Ange will do. Vic, Jed, Ben, Kev, Porro. Midfield's so difficult. I think he goes either Madison or Kulu as a 10. I think he goes Pape. I think maybe he goes Bentancur. And then front three, Tell. I think Solanke maybe. Again, it's one of those with Richie. Richie obviously played 90 minutes on Monday night. I'm absolutely blown away that Richie's played 90 minutes, by the way, and he's all right. So I would say Solanke, and then bring him off in the 60th, bring on Richie kind of thing maybe, and then Odebear for me. So tell Solanke Odebear. That would be my team. Okay, that I would pick. Now, what I think he may go with is Vic in goal. Will he go Destiny or Doggy? Or will he just look at it with Destiny and go, we're going to give him 2 weeks rest before the next game? I don't know what he's going to do at left back. I think we'll continue with Spence. I think Kev, he might go Romero for 45 again, but he'll go Kev and Romero maybe, and then Porro. I don't foresee him doing this. I just don't. I don't foresee him doing this. No, I think he'll go Bentancur. I think he'll go Pape, and then Kulu or Madison. I think is probably where I go, and then I think tell Odebear or Johnson. Odebear or Johnson on the right wing. I think he'll go Solanke up top. So I think I'm probably somewhat similar in my thinking for Angela. I mean, he could surprise me, and he can absolutely throw it all out of the window and show me something completely different. But yeah, I think that's kind of my thinking. That's kind of my thinking. I don't know what you guys think. It's an odd one because I don't actually want the team that started against Forest to play again. I actually don't. I do want rotation. I do want players who haven't played a lot recently to play more football. There's also a part of me that wants certain players who have been playing in the first team just to keep the legs moving for another. That's a point where Bentancur played 90 minutes on Monday. I don't know. Will Bentancur play enough? I think if Bentancur plays 60, I think he plays 60. I don't want to see Bentancur having to play more than that personally. He's played a lot of football recently. He played 90 on Monday. I think play him 60 and bring someone else on for him. I think you play Pape 90. Look, if you're playing Madison or Kulu at centre attacking mid, you could even just bring the other one on for the other one, for example. They could play 45 minutes each, even, you know? Um, and then the front three is an interesting one because like what happens with Sonny? Is he fit? Is he all right to play on Thursday? We don't know. If he's not fit and raring to go for Thursday, then I would probably say Tell has to start and you get him off early. Not early, but like 45th minute or 60th minute, something like that. Get him off. You know, whoever comes on for him comes on for him. You know, if it's Johnson who didn't start, then Johnson comes on. You move Odegaard out onto the left, or vice versa. You can still make the Tell substitution. You can still make a Solanke substitution, a Bentancur substitution. You know, you could still even do that. So, yeah, it's a difficult one, really. It's a difficult one, really, for me. This is, do you know what? It's because of Thursday, isn't it? Like having to predict this team is genuinely so difficult just because of Thursday. I've missed loads of comments. So more than all, I have missed. I promise I'm not ignoring any of your comments. I do keep an eye on them. Is Bentancur good? Yeah, he's all right. He's all right. He's giving me a sub in Athletic. All right, fair enough. As long as you pay the money, I don't really care. Hey, Shaw, it's mad as a start. Cooley, right? Morning, Indiana. How are we? Bentancur, yeah. Tell left. No, Excel, mate. I'm not. Don't know. It's not Jill, is it? It's not going to be Jill Garcia. It's Hill Garcia. Yeah, Odegaard said, yeah. Look, if Tell starts, then I don't want to play in 90 because just not knowing what Son's going to be like on Thursday, he might not even be fit, Sonny, for Thursday. You know, there's a situation where obviously having Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, he's got 3 full days after. He's not going to play today, so he's got today and he's got those 3 days. He's got 4 days more recovery time leading in there. But I think he has. I think he has been on grass, though, isn't he? He's been doing a little bit of training on grass, so that would make you think he's probably not that far off. But for me, I don't start him Thursday. If he's good to play Thursday, he's bench minutes. He's not starting for me because I don't know if he's going to give you everything you need. I don't think he's going to need everything you need on Thursday. So yeah, so you got to manage Tell today. I think this is an interesting one today. You know, it's an opportunity to build form, confidence in certain players, but it's also we have to be smart. We have to manage some minutes today. You know, Thursday's massive. Thursday's absolutely massive. Yeah, got to manage this. Look, I'm not going to say Ange can't or can. I think actually the irony now is after Monday against Forest, it did kind of make me recognise no, he is managing minutes. You know, like Romero and Mickey both went off half time. He's managing minutes. It's appropriate management of minutes. I know there's some fans who look at players as like it's FIFA, and you can play them 90 minutes every single game, no issues. It's obviously not the real world, and that's never a possibility. Especially with some of our players who are not exactly strong enough to play like that. But we'll sort of see. I think look today. I think it's about performance today for me. I don't foresee us winning. I don't foresee us drawing. I will be real. I'm going to be honest with you. I think Spurs are going to lose. I think Spurs are going to lose by 2. So I'm going to go 3-1 as my result. I just think it's being smart about today. You know, being smart about today. 75 million for Romero and Bentancur. Where's the rest? Where's the rest? I mean, Romero's worth about 75 on his own, mate. Some people think their players are machines. Yeah, because they get paid good money, it means they're indestructible and you can just run them into the ground and it doesn't make any difference to them. Bonkers, isn't it? It's a really odd. It's a really odd complex that some people have in their head, isn't it? You know, it's like oh, oh, he's earning 150 grand. It is nearly time to go to Turkey. I know, mate. He's on 150 grand a week. Oh, he can play 900 times a week. It's like, it's not how it works. He's still a human being, regardless of the money he earns. He's still a human being. So look, we'll see about today. We'll see about today. It's an interesting one, but we'll see about today. Obviously, we may be live later on, obviously, to talk about the game itself. I'm hoping to just come into the review going, there's quite a few positives to take out of this game. Because I don't foresee it being a full strength 11. I see it being a full strength for Liverpool side. I think they're going to get the job done today. I think they win the title. It's irrelevant to us. It doesn't do anything against us. It's not like we're going to be mocked for that. It's really irrelevant on that side of things. But yeah, we'll sort of see. We may be live later, depending on if I don't go out. All right, we'll sort of see. But thank you so much for joining me this morning. Go enjoy the rest of your mornings, your afternoons, your evenings, wherever you are in the world. And I'll speak to you all really soon to talk a lot more about Spurs. Take care, everyone. Peace.